What's up, y'all? It's your girl Smiley. I'm back with another video. Finally, I just had to take some time off to myself and get myself together. But in today's video, I'm just gonna be going over the day that forever changed my life, which is my brother's death, which was January 8th, 2018. So yeah, y'all, let's get right into it. Okay, so here we go. All right, I'm gonna start all the way back to the night before. So I didn't have to work that night, but I vividly remember being home because me and my brother both stayed in the same complex. But I remember being home and I just couldn't sleep. Like, I was just so restless that night. So me and my cousin Eddie, we were on FaceTime because at the time she was away in the military. So what happened was we was on the phone for like all night. So finally around like I'm gonna say 4:35 a.m. I finally get tired. So I go to sleep. Not even like an hour and 30 minutes later, I get a phone call from my mom, and I'm like, she was like, "Hey, you seen your brother?" Like, no. She was like, "We can't find your brother." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, he might be by this little chick." I'm like, "All right, cool." So when I heard the worry in her voice, I was like, "Well, come on, let me get up." So I originally went to my mom's house, and I was like, that's when I saw she was panicking and everything, calling hospitals, the jailhouses, all that. So by this time, I'm like, okay, I'm calling his phone, like why the fuck you not picking up? Blah 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 blah. So calling, no answer. So I'm like, okay, cool. So my mom had, like I said, my mom had been called police departments, hospitals, all that, no John Thomas. So we're like, okay, all right, now it's kind of getting scary or whatever. So I never forget, this is exactly what happened. So something came across my mom's phone, a news thing, and it was saying that a John Doe was found in a 6300 block of Woodland Avenue. I mean, I said Avenue, Highway. So when I heard 63, I'm like, wait, hold up, that's my address. Mind you, I told you, me and my brother lived in the same complex. So I'm like, that's my address. So now I'm starting to panic on the inside. I'm like, okay, cool, you're not answering your phone, okay, you're not in jail, you're not in the hospital, okay, where the fuck are you? So I knew that our complex office opened for 8 a.m. So what I did was I left in order to make it to the office in time, or whenever I came back home to go to our office or whatever. So like, in order to get to my brother, I missed a whole part. I just thought about it. So before I went by my mom, because now it's coming back to me. Before I went by my mom, I actually went to my brother's door and knocked on it. Nobody answered the door. So I'm like, okay, cool, he's not home. So when I came back to the office, as I was saying, when I came back to the office, I passed his house up, but I didn't see like no caution tape, nothing like, nothing out of the ordinary. The first or the second time I had to pass it up. So mind you, it was raining all that day. So I parked at the office or whatever, and I don't know, it was just a very uneasy feeling that I got over me. By the time I parked in front of the office, it was just like I knew something wasn't right. So as soon as said 6300 block of Woodland Avenue, something just didn't sit right in my spirit. So when I parked in front of the office, I just vividly remember breaking down, just panicking. So yeah, I just remember like breaking out and just panicking in fear, and like, just praying like, that's not the case is or whatever. So I get back to my mom's house, and we all crying, like just panicking, wanting everything to just be okay. So my uncle, Eddie's dad, works for a funeral home, and he called me and he was like, the last resort is for them to call and I like see who that victim was that got, murdered or whatever. And he was like, I was I'm not gonna lie, I was the one who kept it together, maybe that whole day, at some point. And I just feel like I was the strong one. So my uncle called me or whatever, and he was like, Smiley, I got a friend that worked at the coroner's office. I'm about to call and and find this out or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. He was like, if it is what it is, like if this is what it is, I'm going to call you. I'm like, okay, cool, I got this. So I was on the phone with Eddie, and I had went outside at this point, and I'm on the phone with Eddie, and I'm like, girl, I'm just trying to think positive, but I'm also crying because I'm like, nothing can be wrong with my brother. Like, you can't come and tell me that something is wrong with my brother. So I was like, and I vividly, like, I'm getting chills as I'm talking about this. Like, I remember being on the phone with Eddie, and I'm like, you can't tell me that my brother's dead. I'm gonna have to call the ambulance for my mama. So all of a sudden, I remember Eddie just breaking down crying. So I'm looking, I'm like, I understand we all scared, but like, you crying. And she was like, well, Monty, you need to call them. So I'm like, what you mean I need to call the ambulance? And like, before I knew it, I was sitting in my mama's back seat of her car with the door open. When I looked up, I saw my uncle running to the car and was like crying. I'm like he didn't even have to say nothing. The feeling that went through my body was like unimaginable. Like I still catch that feeling to this day. So as soon as he did that and he hopped out the car, I jumped out the car and I was like, Uncle Pee-wee, no, like, you can't tell me that that's my brother. Like, you can't tell me that. So I'm trying to run behind him before he gets in the door to tell my mom or whatever. And he was like, he just dropped to his knees when he got in the door. So like, I just remember just all that screaming, like, no, like, no, I'm not accepting this. Like, it just no, screaming no. So that at that point, when that happened, by that point, we all was just like done. Mind you, my mom stayed across the street from the school that I graduated from. All the faculty and staff was coming outside trying to figure out where all the like chaos and the noise was coming from. Like, it just was like so many, when I tell y'all, so many people showed up to the house like that, to a point where like I had then like, yeah, I don't really know how to explain it, but I had then went through a numb phase. Like, I wasn't, like, I just was in shock. That's a good word for it. I was in shock. So I just remember like, just like my best friend Diamond coming. I was in the sitting in the car just crying, and like, when I cry, I start to hyperventilate. Mind you, I have asthma, so that could lead very bad for me or whatever. So what happened was, I remember just panic, like, just like really not being able to breathe, like just like trying to get myself to like come to grips with it, whatever like that, but I could not breathe for nothing. So I remember my best friend Diamond taking me out the car and bringing me inside or whatever, and everybody surrounded me trying to get me to breathe or whatever, and I just was like out of it. So as the day progressed, like I told y'all, it got so crowded around there in a matter of no time. But like the feeling that had on me, like I don't really cry that much about it, but I'm like really fucked up about it. Like I'm fucked up. But the moral of me making this video is just for me to share my story and share my grieving process with you guys, just to like let somebody who is currently going through this know you're not in this alone. So my brother died on a Monday. We had I'll insert pictures. But we buried him that same Friday. It was like a quick process, but like my brother had a standing room, like all the seats was filled. We had people still standing up. Like we sent him out. Okay, so moving on to my grieving process. By this time now, my brother is no longer here, and we're preparing for the funeral or whatnot. And hold on, my dog wanted me to pick her up. She kind of knows when I get a little antsy. But make a long story short, now we're planning for the funeral or whatever, and I'm just so stressed out. A lot of people may not know this about me, no, because I didn't really share this with anybody. But when my brother died, I was pregnant, and a little after the time that we buried him, I ended up miscarriaging. That right there showed me that grief brings a lot of stress. It's kind of hard to like explain, but the days leading up to the funeral, I just remember me I was just so strong. Like I was trying to make sure my mom and my sister was okay, make sure everything fell in place right, like, you know, just being a strong one out the bunch. But I'll never forget the feeling that came over me when I couldn't be strong no more. When they was about to close the casket on my brother, I remember, like the back of my hand, screaming, "No, don't do that!" Like you mean to tell me that this one final time that y'all closing the casket is about to be my last time seeing my brother? I was screaming to the top of my lungs because they were trying to I don't know, maybe because I was just so distraught and like so upset. But like they was like trying to pull on me and grab me and like hold me back, and I'm screaming at them, let me go, don't touch me, like just let me go. So I remember just that day was kind of his funeral day. I just remember it being cold, and it was just like not a blur, but I just was like, I went through that day just like numb. Like I just like I didn't have no feelings after the funeral. It just went by. But I insert some clips from his repast, just to show y'all, you know, how we kind of threw down for him or whatever in honor of my brother. But some of my grieving mechanisms that helped me grieve and heal on some things was, okay, first was I have my brother on his face on my arm. Let me show you guys. So I have his face on my arm. So like this tattoo, like whenever I'm feeling like real upset, or I'm feeling like, you know, it's like a constant reminder that, like, you know, he's not here with me physically, but like I always have him. Like I didn't lose out on nothing but a body. That's basically the only thing I lost out on. But like I still have memories, and all that good stuff. But mentally, I can say that my brother's dad like took a toll on me just by itself. And not even to say that, like, it really got bad when 6 months later his best friend gets killed too. So now it's like 6 months later I had to relive that all over again. Like all over again. It was just like a ripple effect for my family, I can say, because once we lost my brother, then 6 months later, July 28th, we lose his best friend. And then later on, the beginning of, I want to say, the following year, if I'm not mistaken, was it? I don't really know. I just know it was just like a spiral effect of me losing my family members. Like, it was just like a lot. I can say that, like, my brother's dad has really changed me for the good and kind of the bad too, because some things I realized about myself is that I'm a lot more humble than I used to be. I try to cherish all the relationships that I do come across, whether it be friends, relationships, like just even acquaintances, because like you never know like when someone's last day with you may be. And my brother's dad really like taught me that. Like, just 2 weeks before my brother died, we got into it over something so petty, and he was at my house, and I told him if he don't like it, he could get the fuck out. He went back to my mama and told my mama that I put him out. I never put him out. He put himself out. He didn't like the comment that I made. But that right there showed me that, like, you could be bickering with your loved one today and won't see them again tomorrow. So it really taught me to like really just cherish my loved ones and everyone who I find near to me. But some negatives I don't like that my grief has done is that I don't really have patience. Like, my tolerance for bullshit is extremely low. Like, before my brother died, I used to be able to put up with a lot. But like once he passed, it was just like, okay, Smiley, now you gotta put on your big girl drawers, because now you ain't got a man in this world that's gonna really, you know, be there for you and like, you know, teach you the ropes of in this game. And that comes for friendships, relationships, anybody you run across. So, you know, that's what it was. Okay. So, I just don't really have a lot of tolerance for dealing with people bullshit. You burn me once, I might not never fuck with you again. And I don't feel like that's always good, because I could lose out on a lot of good people being that way. But here I am, still a work in progress, towards being better at that. Another positive that I think my brother dad has done for me is I have matured a lot. Like, his dad taught me that I had to really stop all my childish ways, for his, you know, just thinking like a little girl. Even though I was in my own house, had my own car, all that, like, just like really putting on, you know, like I said, my big girl drawers, and really doing the damn thing, because ain't nobody gonna get it for me. I gotta get it myself. So that's a positive. It made me more independent. Like, even though I was already independent, but it made me extremely more independent for my age. A negative, like I said, it has really like altered my mental status, and I'm really not going to touch bases on that a lot, because I want to do another video strictly on my mental health and mental health awareness when dealing with things that I have endured. But like I said, it has really like altered my mental status. And what I mean by my mental status, I mean like some days I could wake up and I could be smiling, I could be ready to go, you know, I could just be good. And some days I could wake up down, depressed, even suicidal, like even mad. And sometimes I find myself really angry, sometimes just for the simple fact of I just be mad, because I be like frustrated, and like I be feeling like I'm so selfish to still be here and he's not. And like, I know this is God's plan or whatever, but like never in a million years would you have ever paid me to think that I'd be living in this world and have to endure that type of trauma. And even though I wasn't on the scene when it happened, I feel like I have PTSD on the slick of you know, how it happened, only because, and it be, I know it's only like my unconscious mind speaking and playing tricks on me, but for the longest I used to beat myself up, because I'm like, I was up around the whole time that all this was taking place in the same complex. And I feel like as a sister, as a sibling, siblings are supposed to protect their siblings, and as a sibling I felt like I felt, because like, who you know that's like in not this big of an apartment complex, that's awake and don't hear no gunshots, even though it was like, you know, raining that night and everything like that. But like, I feel like I should have heard something, or even he should have ran to my door. Like, our apartments was not that far apart. I feel like he could have ran and I could have saved him. Like I said, up until very recently, that's how I felt. Now, what made me change my perspective on me saying that it was nothing that I can do was for the longest, like for the first year after my brother died, Me and my sister used to beg my mom, because my mom was the only one who can get his coroner's report, to explain to us exactly what actually happened to cause him to die. So nobody would well, my sister wanted it, but she was like, couldn't suck up herself to do it or whatever. And me, I wanted it, and I didn't have no problem with going to the coroner's office to do it. So I made a phone call and I'm like, hey, my mom wants it, but she don't want to come down there. Is there any kind of way that I can come get it? So basically they was saying, yeah, all she got to do is write a letter stating that she gave me permission to pick it up and we can have it. Okay, so I got a little sidetracked there, but back to what I was saying. So the coroner's office said all my mom had to do was sign the paper stating that she gave me permission to release the documents or whatever. So when I got there or whatever, I was so eager to read it that I wanted to know, because me being in the medical field and me being in school for nursing, I wanted to know exactly what the bullet actually hit to cause so much damage in order for him to die. So I received the papers or whatever, and I insert some clips if y'all want to, just to, to be a little more open about it, so y'all can get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. But make a long story short, I sat in the car. As soon as I got the papers, I opened them and I started to read it. So when I read it, I can't think from word to word what exactly it hit first, but I know that whoever it was sitting on the ground and shot up, because it entered his lower right side of his back and came out the front part of his left side of his chest. So excuse me. So internally I wanted to know exactly what did it hit. So quickly I'll just insert a mini little clip, a little voice memo with the picture, reading over the layout of the body, stating what exactly it hit, because I'm not sure, but I'm about to insert that right now. Yeah. So basically, this is where the bullet entered at, like I was saying, and where it exited at on his body. So yeah, it hit like his kidney, his liver, and then it came out his heart. So that's what really like actually did the damage. Okay, so basically that's what that was for, is what actually caused his death. So I'm not gonna lie, like once I read that, I was extremely distraught, because then I realized that even if he would have came running to my door, even if I would have heard a gunshot, if I would have put pressure on that wound, I would have been doing more harm than good, and he still would have been bleeding internally, which, like, I want to say I'm kind of relieved that, like, I don't have this guilty conscience no more about wanting to save him. But then again, as a sibling, as a person, everybody wants to save somebody who's fighting for their life. So that's basically what that was, for as how it was, whatever. Okay, so my grieving mechanism. What do I do to continue to stay positive? No lie, y'all. I feel like if I did not have a pro life, I probably would have been gave up. No shade. I don't have no kids. Like, I don't really have nothing like that is worth me wanting to stay on this earth. So I'm not gonna lie, the devil really was messing with my mind a lot, contemplating on doing weird things and all that. But again, if I did not have a prayer life, I probably would have succumbed to a lot of those negative thoughts and did something. But that's where God stepped in at. I could have been gone a long time ago. But I continue to remain solid, prayerful, and positive out this whole experience. Even though I didn't wake up every day feeling that way. Sometimes I wanted to be a negative Nancy. Some days I wanted to just cry. Some days I just wanted to stay in bed and not even want to talk to nobody. Like, just recently, a couple of months ago, I found myself really like just disassociating myself with everybody. Like, but I feel like it did more good than it did bad for me, because then that was time for me to get myself together, to really realize who I was, to really know my self-worth, to know my purpose here on earth. Like, I really found all this out just in a matter of a couple of months of just isolating myself from everybody, just getting me together. And I feel like that's the best decision I could have ever made. Like, I started like a positivity wall on my bedroom wall. I'll show y'all. I like basically just wrote a lot of positive things like that kept me going. And I just wake up, and when I'm having a bad day, I'll just like read a couple of them. And I basically just surrounded it all by the word love, because it's self-love at the end of the day. So yeah, this is basically my wall of positive thoughts, and I'm still continuing on. Yeah. So it's like a lot of, even though I'm currently still grieving and I'm still going through stuff mentally, like, I still have a lot of things that I do and can do to keep my mind off those negative thoughts. Because I promise y'all, sitting there in grief is not going to get you nowhere. All it's going to do is attack your weight, your relationships, make you seclude yourself from everybody. Like, it's not healthy. Like, anybody who's grieving, after a couple of weeks, this is my own advice. It may not work for y'all, but it worked for me. I had to keep myself busy. Like, I feel like if I would have sat there and really allowed myself to sit in that, I probably wouldn't be here, honestly speaking. But the fact that I had a lot of stuff going on for myself and everything like that, I think that's why I'm still here, and that's why I'm still able to go and still maneuver and still keep a strong head on my shoulders, even while dealing with my hurt. And just recently, I just figured that, like, hurt people. And like, I used to say it a lot, you know, when all this was happening, but I didn't really understand it until recently. And I feel like I have now realized who Imani is, not Smiley, because Smiley is my alter ego, and yeah, she's going to forever be here. But I finally realized who Imani is, and I've realized my worth and my purpose here on earth. So with that being said, like, I'm going to remain independent. I'm prayerful. Keep a strong head on my shoulders. Don't let nobody get to me, ruin my day. Like, I just I also have found out and learned that if I feel like I'm being a hassle to you, or I feel like I'm too much of a burden to you, it's no bad blood. I'm just gonna separate myself, let everybody have their time, and then whatever the universe has in the future is what it is. But right now, I think it was time for me to just get myself together, like, you know, just disassociate myself from everybody, you know, learn who I am without no one around. That way, when people are around, I still remain solid in who I am. So I kind of thank God for this eye opener, because that's definitely what it was, an eye opener for me and my family, everybody, to get their shit together. And a lot of other life struggles happen in the process of all this happening, which made me even more of the person I am today. But that's for another video, because I'm strictly talking about my brother's death right now. But I definitely will touch bases on my dad's dad, my aunt's dad, my second miscarriage, because I did have a second one, my toxic relationship. Like, it's a lot of content that I'm about to start putting out there, just to get myself back into the mood of doing my videos now. But yeah, I hope that, like, you know, I was able to touch someone, or even give somebody some type of hope who's currently dealing with a situation like this, because I just want y'all to know that I haven't got my light at the end of the tunnel. Excuse me. I haven't got my light at the end of the tunnel, but I can see it from far distance. So I just wanted to come and encourage somebody else that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You just gotta work. You gotta strive. You gotta make sure that you remain positive throughout that journey, because it's going to be a journey, and it's not going to be an easy one. So, like, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm still trying to work my way to get into that light. But as time go on, it's getting easier. Not that much easier, but it's getting easier for me. Like, I'm able to now start saying certain little things about my grieving process without crying, without getting upset. Or even when someone makes me upset, now not using my brother's death as a reason for me to lash out. Like, it's really been working on me in multiple ways. So thank y'all for watching. If y'all have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I'll love to hear y'all feedback on this video, and how y'all may have experienced a tragic loss. But yeah, I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching.